Welcome, I'm the Deadwood Jedi. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we are going to try and do the impossible, and that's going to be speed tuning Opardin the Clanfather. Clan Daddy is taking the Clanfather down. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. My apologies. Anyway, what we are going to do, though, is speed tune a team with Opardin. Now, it's not easy to do. He has that crazy passive ability that gives your team a 5% turn meter boost every time a continuous heal buff ticks for them. So he puts up 2 himself. That's going to be a 10% turn meter boost on everybody on the team. But those buffs aren't up all the time. And on top of that, he has a potential 10% turn meter boost on his A1. It can be as low as 0 or as high as 10, and in the middle is 5%. So there's going to be some random RNG stuff with the turn meter boosting. So anytime we're going to be speed tuning, we need to give him enough of a buffer where he can get that extra 10% or get nothing and still stay in tune. I was able to figure that out, but it's going to be at a 1-1 ratio, right? There's nothing crazy fancy going on. We're not going at a 2-1 ratio or doing anything wild like that, but I'm pretty sure those are things that we can do in the future. It's going to be tricky, with champions like Godseeker Near extending those buffs can make that a little bit easier to do, but I'm going to talk all about that. What I want to do is I want to show you the champions. We're going to go ahead and show the run. And then after that, I'm going to talk a little bit about, the ranges you can use and the different champions that you can bring into this type of a team. So this is the team that I'm using up above my head here. We're going to be bringing in Alton as our lead for decreased attack and increased defense. We have Geomancer for the HP burn, the weaken, and his awesome passive ability. And Martyr there for counterattack and also decreased defense, not to mention the increased defense buff that he brings. Opardin for the heals, and he brings a nice little cleanse for the stun as well. We are going against Void. This would not work against Affinity, so just keep that in mind. And then Taragi the Frog is going to give us some poisons, but also keep us alive with his ally protection ability. Just quickly looking at the champions here so we can kind of get an idea of the stats that we're using. Opardin here I have built at 176 speed. This is the top speed you can run Opardin if you're trying to do a 1-1 ratio team. The very top speed, 176. Now you can definitely run him slower than this, but generally 176 is going to be the top speed. With the rest of the champions, you have a lot more leeway. Now, the way I built them, obviously, I'm trying to get to that 3,000 defense. That's what I want for everyone with increased defense. And then as much HP as possible, because that's going to help his healing. I don't need accuracy. I don't need resistance. Don't need anything else. Don't even need the crit damage and crit rate. I just added it because I had it. Kind of want to see how hard he can hit, which is, he's middling, I would say, as a damage dealer. Mastery-wise, I took him down the support tree and the offensive tree, which works really well for us. I don't see any issues there. And mostly I took down the support tree just to up his healing. I want his healing to be as max as possible. Could easily go down the defensive tree, but, not much of a reason. You'll notice I did not take, there's one mastery I didn't take, which is this one, Lasting Gifts. Those continuous heals, I need them to be consistent. I want that turn meter boost to be consistent so I don't throw off any of the champions' turn order or anything like that. As far as his skills, because we should go over this, right? He gets his A1. It's a 2-hit attack, and it has a 50% chance of filling his turn meter by 5%. Now, against everything else, PvE, dungeons, Doom Tower, this guy's going to be absolutely outstanding. He also has a chance of decreasing the enemy's turn meter. So this is going to be really good for that content. Obviously, it doesn't matter for Clan Boss. His A2 attacks all enemies, heals all allies 10% of this champion's max HP, and it's a 15% heal if they're under continuous heal buffs instead. Well, where we're using the skill, it's going to actually be a little bit later in the fight, so I don't think the continuous heal is going to be on anybody at that point. But it's still a very large heal. 10% of his health, if we build him high, which we did, it's like, 9,000 HP. It's very good. So, and it's going to be even more with the passive abilities or the masteries that he has. So this is a really nice AoE heal right here. This I think is definitely worth looking at. We get an extra 10% on it. It's good. It's a nice little heal. Then he has his A3 Clan Mentor. Now this removes block buffs, heal reduction, and places 2 continuous heal buffs on all allies for 2 turns. Also has a 75% chance of removing 1 random debuff from all allies. This is a cleanse. It's a single debuff cleanse. But what is great about this is a direct counter to one of those heads in Hydra that places the ally protection, places heal reduction, that head of decay, right? Places that heal reduction on you. There's that other one that places that life link. This skill can cleanse that stuff for you guys. It's a really strong ability. I think he's going to be great in Hydra. Maybe be able to actually do the job of healing for your team all by himself, because he's a very good healer. His passive ability, each time a continuous heal buff heals an ally, fill that ally's turn meter by 5%. Now, I'm going to try and quickly look at the other champions that we have here, just so you have an understanding of who we're bringing in and what they can do, because I know you guys always want to know, even when it's not necessary. Here we go. There's the stats for Martyr right there. Somewhat damaged, nothing super crazy. Here's the masteries. We've also got, who else are we bringing in on this team? Oh, we have Alton as well on this team, right? Let's show him. Same kind of masteries. Artifacts is kind of a mix, but the stats, boom, 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 pretty good. You'll notice he's going at 175 speed, right? Martyr we had going at 172 speed, 171 speed right there, okay? We also have in here, we've got Taragi the Frog. Got to show him going at 174 speed. You're noticing a pattern here. We're keeping everybody under that 176 speed. Now, it's not strictly necessary, but it works really well for this. The other champions actually have a much wider speed range. And then Geomancer right here going at 175 speed. And you can see the stats right there. Everybody's got 3,000 defense at the very least and almost 40,000 HP for all of them. And masteries, if you guys want to see that, for Geomancer and for Taragi, because I forgot about him. There we go. There's the masteries. So those are the stats on the champions. That's how that's working. Now, one thing I do want to point out in the team setup, you have to, whenever it comes to healers, you have to set their skills in the skill priority, or they're just going to use them willy-nilly and it's going to throw everything off. So make sure to do that. That's going to be really important, okay? And so we're just going to get started here. And I'll talk a little bit as this run begins about how this all works. Okay, so getting it set up, we're going to go ahead and use Opardin's A1 skill to start here. I have my reasons for it. Maybe that's not the best choice, but that's just what we're doing right now. There's Geomancer, and here goes Alton. It's going to do his what is it? It's A2, I think? No, it's A1. We're going to use his A1 here. We're going to try and get that increased defense right before the stun. Taragi, we're going to get the ally protection up right here between the AoEs, and then Martyr's just going to do her thing. Boom. Now we come through. Opardin's going to use his big heal here. There goes. Geomancer's going to use their A1. Got now the increased defense from Alton. A1 from Taragi. And then Martyr's going to A1 again, because why not? And at this point, we can click auto, and we'll let this run. Now, look, the stun's out. Here we go. There's the heal. The continuous heal buffs go, and you can keep seeing those little boost turn meter things coming up, letting you know that they're getting that turn meter boost when those continuous heals go up. But you'll also notice that Opardin's going to be going first in this team, and everybody else will be going after right before the clan boss goes, and it'll stay in tune for the entire fight. We won't have to worry about staying in tune or not. Now, I did use that A2 skill. I'm using it a little bit later. I'm using it right before the stun right here. You'll see Opardin's going to use it. They're all getting their counterattacks in. Boom. There it is. Nobody has continuous heal up. So we're only getting a 10% as opposed to a 15% heal as a result. But the reason why I did that is because Taragi, I just want him to survive a little bit longer. And because he's ally protecting between those AoEs, his HP is going to fall pretty low towards the end there. So I'm hopeful that heal will help him stay alive just a little bit longer. And right here between the AoEs, we're going to get a little turn meter boost. So you're going to see here, uses A1, only got 1 turn meter boost there, but it's potentially can get 2 off of that. That's an extra 10% speed on top of the 10% coming from the continuous heals. That's a potential 20% turn meter boost coming off of that. It's a lot. That's a lot of speed right there. So we have to make sure that Opardin isn't so fast that he's actually going to get another turn and lap the clan boss. If he does, that's where our tune gets thrown out. That's why I say 176 is the absolute maximum speed you can run Opardin in a traditional 1-1 ratio team. Okay? If you want to get crazy with it, you want to try some different stuff, have at it. But I have all the ranges for these guys. Everybody else, they need to be between 169 and 196 speed. Okay? Even if you bring in a Godseeker or Neri to extend the buffs and keep them up full fight, if you do that, the slowest speed one of the other champions can go at is 159 speed, which is pretty slow. So, that turn meter boost is going to have a major impact on the speeds that we can use. One of the great things is it means you can run your champions pretty slow. You don't have to run them super fast. Now, if you bring in that's if you bring in a Godseeker or a Sandlash Survivor. A Demitha is going to throw it off because guess what? She adds another continuous heal, so don't recommend that. But everybody else is going to be able to go pretty slow if you want to. And that can be really nice. On this team here, I don't have anybody in speed boots because they're all under 176 speed. It makes it a lot easier to do that. Now, this team is designed to run without a Godseeker, designed to run without a Sandlash Survivor or any extender. And because of that, I have to have them at the very slowest is 169 speed. I opted for 171 just to be safe. Then I can take Opardin out or put him back in, and they're still going to be speed tuned for Ultra Nightmare. Now, obviously, if you hit different difficulties, it's going to throw that all off, right? Nightmare's a different animal from Ultra Nightmare. But the idea here is that you get enough turn meter boost to still go within the same speed ratio. It's hard to explain. But the clan boss goes at 190 speed, right? And so it takes him 8 ticks to get a full turn meter. And so within those 8 ticks, we need everybody else to be able to take their turn, but not go so fast that they take 2 turns, right? And Opardin's the prime candidate for that. He's going first in the team. That means he has, because the clan boss takes a turn and then Opardin goes, Opardin has 7 ticks if he wants to actually go before the clan boss again. And if we get him over 176 speed, there's a chance if he gets that double proc on the turn meter boost from his A1 that he will actually go so fast that he will outspeed the clan boss again. And he'll do that in 7 ticks as opposed to 8. Now, I know many of you are like, what the heck is he talking about? Don't worry about it. Point is, keep your Opardin under 176 speed. Keep all your champions between 169 and 176. If that's Opardin, everybody else needs between 169 and 195 speed or 196 speed. That's pretty much the max you can do. Now, the turn order might alter a little bit based off of which champions you have going over 190, but in general, that will work for you as far as keeping your team in check speed-wise. And that's pretty much it. That's the basics of this, guys. It's a very simple type of thing. 10% turn meter isn't enough for Opardin to lap anybody or any of these champions. 15 or 20% is. And so when that A1 hits, that's where he has the opportunity to go too fast. And that's why we have the limit on the speeds that he's using. And so, yeah, that's the team. That's how this works. It's pretty impressive, I think. He does decent damage when he does hit. Obviously, his cleanse skill right there doesn't do any damage. It's not an attack. But I find him to be a very, very good healer. I think better than Battle Khazar. Frankly, I like his big AoE heal. I think he's one of the best healers in this game. Maybe not the best, but I like to say that he is. But definitely a good champion worth building and bringing into your team. And if you can, when you're talking about things other than clan boss, bringing in more continuous heals is just going to make him stronger. So he's going to pair with champions like Tuhanarok exceedingly well. He'll pair with a Battle Khazar really, really well. And he'll pair extremely well with champions that do extensions, right? So he's going to be great with like Krisk, for example, who gives himself continuous heals and extends the buffs that are already out there. There's lots of things that I think we can utilize him for in a lot of areas of this game where he's going to be a very, very strong champion to bring in. So yeah, I really recommend you guys fuse this guy if you have the opportunity. But I'll let the run kind of go. You can see the healing that he's done. These guys are down to about half health, and he's doing a really good job of keeping them alive. With most healers in this game, they can't really do the job by themselves. You almost always need a little bit something extra, whether that's shields, a leech, or a second healer, all in all. But he does a pretty good job. You can see that big A3 skill does a pretty good job of healing too. So anyway, I'll get off the screen and let you guys watch. And we'll come back at the end. 42 million damage is pretty good, I think, as an overall result. Opardin put up 6 million damage, which isn't a crazy amount, but that's not bad. It's definitely more than Taragi did. Almost, not quite as much, but pretty close to what Martyr did too. Counterattack, obviously, but he can hit decently hard. He's not a bad champion to bring in. For a healer on this team, I think he is pretty solid. Definitely a good champion that I would think for Clan Boss. Not my favorite because of the turn meter stuff, but definitely good. And he's going to be, I cannot wait to try to use him in things like, I can. I tried using him in Hydra. It's a little bit difficult, and those take a lot of time to build. But I think he's going to be really good in Hydra teams. I think he's going to be pretty darn good in Doom Tower and runs as well. I think those are definitely some areas of the game where he could be really nice. So pretty cool. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I know you all are interested in how do you tune Opardin for Nightmare in addition to Ultra Nightmare, and you can do that as well, but obviously the speeds are going to be much slower. For Opardin, his speed range is really tight. It's like 155 to 158 speed, and I do encourage you to go on the faster end of that. That'll help ensure that he stays at the top of the order. The rest of your champions, though, they have like kind of two different ranges, really three different ranges, but two that work well. So the first one is going faster than the clan boss, right? You're going anywhere between 170 and 175 speed. You will go before the clan boss does, right? Now that top speed, that 175, it's actually really dependent on Opardin speed. So I know I have Opardin right now, and my team is actually 156. And that means the top speed I can actually use is 173.3. So basically, I have Taragi, I think, in a speed set, one speed set, and that's just it barely works with that. But that's basically what you can do. So depending on the champions that you have is going to really have an effect over the speeds that you can run the rest of your champions at, right? So how fast Opardin is going to gate the top speeds of your champions. Now, here's the thing. If they're going before the Nightmare Clan boss and they're less than that top speed, whatever that is, 175 if Opardin's at 158, less if he's less, right? If you have them going fast but not, but to that cap, what ends up happening is the clan boss goes first, then Opardin with all his built-up turn meters is going to go first, then the rest of those champions will go in order, and for the rest of the fight, Opardin will go first, stay in the lead, but not go so fast that he outspeeds the clan boss, and everybody else will fall behind. You'll have a nice set speed tune. If you decide to go slower than the Nightmare Clan boss, anywhere faster than Opardin, but still slower than the clan boss, so we're talking 158 to 170 speed, what'll end up happening is you will go before Opardin to start. But as the fight progresses, as Opardin starts getting those turn meter boosts from his A1 skill, he's going to slowly catch up and pass each of those champions. Every time he passes another champion, whoever went first in that turn will take a double turn until eventually Opardin is going first in your team, but that happens slowly over the course of the fight. That's not going to be a consistent speed tune and will probably throw off the skill usage of your team. So that's why I don't recommend going in those speeds. What I do recommend, though, is also having your champions go somewhere between 155 and 158 speed and going slower than Opardin. If you can manage that, what'll end up happening is everybody will miss that first turn, and then Opardin will go first, and with his turn meter boost on his A1, he'll continue to go first, but never fast enough to lap the clan boss, and everybody else will stay in sync. You'll never lose a turn by staying at 155 speed or faster. And I think technically it's like 154 or faster, but it can get a little wonky. And the reason why I don't say Opardin at 154 is you generally want him going first. He's got that nice cleanse ability. You want to be able to utilize that. If you have him going 154, if everybody's the same speed and he's last in turn order, he's going to go last. He won't be able to cleanse anybody. So, little things to kind of keep in mind when you're doing this, but it does work. So I figured I'd go ahead and run that real quick, kind of show you guys how this can happen. Just kind of get us into it and give you a nice visual view of the team actually working, right? I should probably take it off auto. We can go ahead and set it up just like before. We just need to do a little bit of setup here. Now, all these champions, all these DPS are actually going 171 to 173. They're faster than the clan boss. So we're able to use our skills right away. But Opardin I have at 256 or 156, excuse me. So he's going to still be going first here. So we can go ahead, and it doesn't matter, A1, A2. I can use those skills when I think is best. So I'm going to go ahead and use the A1 here. Alton can go, boom, boom. Here we go. And it's just setting it up, right? But you'll see here as we get into it that we're going to stay in tune, and we shouldn't have any issues going forward. Excellent there. And then we just need to make sure we use Opardin's A2 skill here, and then we should be squared away and good to go. And there we go. A2, boom. Excellent. And then we can just click auto, and we're good. And this, will work. Even if you bring an extender in, those speeds are going to hold. It shouldn't change anything for us. The only person, and actually, yeah, it won't hurt us in any way. You're going to be able to keep those same ranges whether you bring an extender in or not. Now, if you add more continuous heals, obviously that's going to throw things off as we're adding more turn meter boosts, and we're going to have to adjust the speeds as a result. We are looking at being able to put this in the calculator, so you'll be able to actually test this out for yourself and build your own team with Opardin. But at the moment, he's not in just yet. It's going to take a little bit of work to get that one going. But hopefully we'll be able to get him in with his passive ability and everything else working. But there you go. You guys can see it works. He's going first, able to cleanse, able to, do all the healing and stuff that we want to. There's the stun, there's the cleanse, and everybody's still in order. Nobody's going to outspeed him. And it helps that he has that little A1 on his turn meter just to kind of ensure that. But even without that, it doesn't matter. He never has to proc it, and he'll still stay at first. He can proc it, and he'll still stay first. It won't really matter. So that's how you're going to tune him for Nightmare, between 155 and 158 speed. And then the rest of your champions need to be between 171 and that top range, which is dependent on Opardin's speed, but generally between 173, 175, that kind of range. Or you're going to have them be slow, right? Between, slower than Opardin, basically, but still faster than 154 speed. So that's kind of the ranges that we're looking at there. And it works. It'll keep him in tune and functional. And he's such a good healer. I can see this being very helpful for a lot of you out there that struggle staying alive in Clan Boss. Just an absolutely dynamite champion for this part of the game. Okay, so let's get that overview for all this. I know I threw a lot of numbers at you, a lot of different, difficulties, speeds, all sorts of requirements and stuff. Let's kind of overview this for you guys. So when you're building Opardin, first off, we do plan to get him in the calculator, but it might take some time. It's a very complex kind of skills that he's got going on there. So until that does happen, what I would highly recommend is keeping him for Ultra Nightmare, between 176 speed and 171 speed. The faster you have him going, the more likely he is to go at the top of your order from the beginning. Eventually, with that A1 skill of his giving him extra turn meter boost, it's pretty much inevitable that he's going to go first. So that is something that you're probably going to be able to rely upon, especially if you bring in something like counterattack into your team. It's almost guaranteed he's going to catch up and surpass the rest of your teams, even if he goes really slow. You can run him slower. You can run the rest of your team slower than that, but it's going to be a little bit iffy as far as the turn order and stuff and getting set up. So I really recommend sticking between 171 and 176 for Opardin. You might be able to get away with 177, 178 speed, but it really depends on the speeds of the other champions in order to make that work. And then the rest of your team, you can have go as fast as 196 speed. It's like 196.7, but I do recommend probably sticking into that 170, like the 170s, right? I would stay around that speed. It's going to be easier for you to tune. It's going to be easier to build your champions up anyway, and it'll also be easier for Opardin to start going first at the top of the order and keep everything going smooth and in sync. So that would be my recommendation for you. Now, if we're talking Nightmare, it's a little bit more complex, right? We need Opardin between 155 and 158 speed, and we need everybody else either faster than the Nightmare Clan Boss between that 171, 175 speed, depending on Opardin's top speed, or slower between 154 and 158 speed, slower than Opardin, so that Opardin will go first consistently. Now, obviously, if Opardin is even a little bit slower than everybody else in those low 150s, with that A1 skill, there's a high likelihood that he's still going to outspeed the rest of the team at some point and end up going at the top of the order. But just to ensure that that happens sooner, to ensure that you can get those that cleanse working, that you're going to probably want to make him the fastest champion, similar to what I'm talking about for Ultra Nightmare. Now, other question is, how good is this guy? And I think we saw he's one of the best healers in this game. Definitely a top healer for Clan Boss. I would definitely put him on par with the Bad El Khazar. Now, Bad El does stuff like bring you poisons, which Opardin doesn't do. But when it comes to pure healing, I don't know that there's anybody better in this game. That's an arguable point. I know other people will contend on that one, but I think he's probably the best healer in this game. I really like his A2 healing ability. Obviously, his A2 healing ability. Obviously, his continuous heals are really good, and the Terminator boost is always a nice thing. When you get to go a little bit slower and stay at the same speeds, or just go faster, that's generally a good thing. So this is a first shot at really speed tuning this Clanfather. I think there's a lot of potential to this. I'm actually excited once we get him in the calculator to see what other people can come up with as far as tuning him. But if you are questioning, should you be doing this fusion or not? Absolutely, you should. This champion is tailor-made for Hydra, and he's going to be really good for Clan Boss. So hopefully you guys are going to summon this guy and have good success with him, and I look forward to seeing what teams you guys produce out of it. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. I'm tired. This was a long one. I'm sorry about that. Just a lot to cover on this one. A lot of information on this bad boy. So hopefully this is helpful for you guys. Till next week meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.